Hey guys, Zoras, not casuals, today bringing you another Genshin Impact video. This is probably my most important video that I've ever done because so often during the stream and in our video comments, we see so many mistakes being made from new players, and some of these can be very game-changing and really affect your gameplay. So today I'm bringing you my top 10 biggest mistakes to avoid in Genshin Impact. So the first mistake is also probably the biggest mistake I've ever seen. It is a huge game-changing thing. It is not upgrading your talents. Now, if you go in your character sheet and click on talents right here, you'll see that on the right side here, your abilities will be listed and they have a level underneath them. If you click on that, you can level up some of these talents with some materials. Now, leveling up these talents means that your abilities will increase drastically in damage. These can go up to level 15 in the end game, and these statistics are not negligible. The more you level up, the harder you'll hit. Now, 5% here and there might not seem important, but when you're doing it 15 times, this is going to be a huge damage increase. A lot of players come to us saying they don't do enough damage to clear any abyss floors and all that kind of stuff, and often they don't even know that you can level up your talents. So you can see that my own character here can gain 21% damage from one talent leveling up. So this is something that's going to be very important to keep an eye out, because you can see that a lot of the damage that you're going to do is going to come from these talents. So get to farming these materials and get your talents leveled up on your main DPS. Now, my second tip is going to have to do with the world map. Now, one of the things that you can do at the beginning is not mark stuff enough. If you see here on my map, I have marked so many different things. Now, you can mark anything up to chests, rare mobs, or in my case, I'm marking Animoculus that I have already collected. Now, you can use this additionally with the Genshin Impact interactive map, which you should use, and you can find the link in the description of this video, to make sure that you're not missing an Animoculus, and then later on, when you're missing one or two, you realize that you don't know which one you're missing. You're looking at a map, there's 100 something of them, and you don't know which one you haven't gotten. Now, if you've marked them from the beginning, it'll be very easy to know which one you've missed, then pick it up, and then you can delete all the markers and start again in the next zone. You can also do this for special spots, such as here, for example. There's a mine underneath here that you can have like 6-7 crystal nodes that respawn every few days. Now, I've marked it, and I say crystal, because then I can come here and check every few days, because I need this crystal to craft more weapons. So make sure to use the markers on your map, put a custom name here, and put a marker that will be good for you to remember. It will really help your gameplay. Now, the third mistake that I see a lot of players do all the time is they're going to start farming artifacts in these artifacts domain before level 35-40. You can see that you can start farming very early and you'll get blue copies of these artifacts. Now, when you're level 30 and 35, you'll start seeing purple version of these items, which are great, as a purple item is still a very good item, but at level 40 and obviously 45, you'll start unlocking the orange version, which is the best version in the game. Now, if you waste your resin while you're leveling up, farming all these artifacts that you will then replace after a few levels, it basically means that your resin that you spent is almost completely wasted. Now, if you've been following this game for a while, you know that resin is a big issue. People need resin to farm so many things in this game, and artifact is not a priority. So do not start farming artifacts, especially late game artifacts, until at least AR 35, and if you can, level 40 is even better. Now, while we're talking about resin, my fourth mistake that I really want you to avoid is to use these fragile resin. You will get a lot of these from leveling up and from the adventure rank rewards, and they grant you 60 resin when you use them. Now, these are very valuable, and you will need every single one of these in the late game when you're farming for both Ascension materials and for late game artifacts. You will not want to use these to farm early level items that you will replace after a few hours of gameplay, because this will mean that you're wasting one of the most valuable items in the entire game. I recommend saving up as many of these as possible until the latest possible time. AR 40, even AR 45 is better, because you will need all that resin, and you would much rather be using these resin items to get level 45 orange gear instead of level 20 blue gear. Now, the fifth mistake that I want to highlight is make sure to start farming the stuff that you need early on. Now, what I need is that if you see here, my Diluc is level 70. Now, if I want to ascend him later, you will see that I need, first of all, tons of these items that drop from the world boss, and I need tons of these small lamb grass, which are limited on a daily basis, and tons of these Lieutenant Insignia, who are also limited on a daily basis. So from the get-go, look at the materials that your character will need to ascend, and start farming these early. Because if you're like me, where you reach a point where you need 40 something of them, and you can only farm something like 15 or 20 a day, and then they respawn every few days, it might take an entire week before you can ascend one of your favorite characters. So don't slack at the beginning and start farming some of the stuff that you really need. There is plenty of this stuff that can be farmed without resin, and this is what you should be doing with your time when you don't have anything else to do. Now for my sixth huge mistake that you must never do is, when you come to the blacksmith, never transform your white iron chunk and your crystal into these mystic enhancement ore and fine enhancement ore. These resources are very rare and very valuable. You will be able to craft all of these weapons multiple times over the course of your Genshin Impact gameplay, and while doing so, you'll be able to refine these weapons and make them absolutely godly. Now, if you're wasting all of these crystals and the white iron ore onto these enhancement ore, you'll end up basically hurting yourself, especially if you're free to play and you can only craft these weapons as your best in slot weapons. These will be very important, and these are not as important at all. So I would hang on to all my white iron chunks and all my crystal and never craft these until you've crafted so many of these weapons that you don't need any of them to refine it ever again. Same thing can be said of cooking. When you look here, the jade parcels, they take these Jiun chilies. Now, these are a very important Ascension material for Xiangling, which is a character that everybody has for free right now, and one of the best characters in the game right now. So when you cook food, make sure that you're not using Ascension materials for character that you're using, and then using it to cook food that you don't really need, and then having no materials to ascend the character that you really want to play and that you really need to push the Abyss further, for example. So just be on the lookout not to use Ascension materials when crafting or when cooking, because this will really hurt you in the long run. Now for my next mistake that you really don't want to do is, when you're crafting food, for example, don't forget that you can select a character here. See, it auto-selected Fischl for me, which doesn't do anything for this crafting material. Now if I go here, you can see that if I use Barbara or Jean in this craft, I'm going to get a 12% chance to obtain a double of this product. Now 12% might not seem like a lot, but when you're crafting a lot of stuff, these bonuses will add up. Now these bonuses also work when crafting at the blacksmith and at the alchemy table. There are a lot of characters with different passive buffs that will enhance your crafting and will make it either cheaper or give you more materials when doing so. So always try and look for which character can help you when doing any kind of crafting in this game. Now for my 8th tip, one of the things that I see a lot of players do is that when you're having a character that's hurt, for example, you'll see that my Xiangling needs a bit of healing. Now obviously I can go in my inventory and I can use some food and heal her up like this, right? I can go here and heal these characters up. Now if you're not in a dire situation that you're in the middle of a fight, you don't need to use your food for nothing. It takes time and effort to gather materials for food, and you can heal in this game for completely free. All you have to do is go to any statue of the 7 in the world, and then you simply go and talk to it like that, and we'll see that one of the options is actually Statue's Blessing. If you click that and you come here, you'll see all my characters are completely healed. Now there's the restorative power here that recharges over time, and it will auto heal your characters when nearby, and this energy lasts for quite a long time. I've never personally run out ever, so it is something that will save you a lot of food. If you're not in a hurry, res your characters and heal your characters by just visiting these statues instead of wasting all your food. Now another mistake that I see a lot of people do is they don't realize that you actually need 2 teams for the Abyss, and they focus only one team and don't think about the future of their game. Now when you get to Abyss level 5 and anywhere after that, if you click here, you'll see that if I start this challenge, I need to bring 2 full teams of 4. Now, if you're focusing only on one team with elements that only work for one team, and then you end up having no characters for your second team, you might end up shooting yourself in the foot for your late game. Now, of course, it is important to focus only a few characters in this game because you don't have the materials to increase an entire party of 8 characters, but it is important that when you're focusing these characters, that you try and build at least 2 DPS and 2 support so that you can have 2 characters per team in order to advance further into the Abyss, because this is a very important part of the game that has a lot of free rewards, and if people are focusing only on one team, they might not have the correct element or team balance to do 2 full teams and progress in the Abyss. So I get a lot of people coming on the stream asking me which team is better, this character, this character. It doesn't really matter if you have 2 great DPS. Prepare yourself to make 2 teams and have your 2 greatest characters lead both of them. Now, while we're talking about the Abyss, this is the last mistake I want to bring up here. My 10th tip is A lot of people don't realize that when you clear all first 8 chambers of the Abyss, you will unlock the Abyssal Spire. You will have other levels that you can do. Now, when you reach these levels, you can repeat these levels and get the rewards every single time it resets. Now, the Abyss resets every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, you could go in here and clear levels and get Primal Gems and Mora every single time for free. This is going to be one of the main source of income for your late game in Genshin Impact, and it is very important that if you're able to clear all the way up to the level 8 and 9, don't wait too long and then miss out on some free reward. Now, if you click here in the blessing, you'll see that in 1 day and 12 hours, the Abyssal Moonspire will reset. So if you can, push your Abyss, don't wait too long, and go get these rewards so that you can get them again when the next reset starts, because it's completely free reward, and every 2 weeks that you go by not clearing it, you're losing out on amazing rewards. So that's about it for my most important mistakes. Of course, guys, there's going to be a lot of other mistakes. So if you have any that you want to suggest, please drop them in the comments because I can make a part 2 video of this. Now, the last mistake that I really want to highlight is not being subscribed to Not Casuals and not coming on our daily Q&A streams. We answer everyone's question and we release daily guides on every single aspect of this game. So if you need some help or some insight on how to play this game and not waste your time or resources, make sure to follow and subscribe because we are really happy to help you guys out. Make sure to join our Discord if you want to come ask us questions directly or tune in into our daily streams. And if you like the content, please make sure to subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope that this video helped you avoid some simple mistakes. Stay tuned for my next video, which will highlight some of the most important tips that you must be using in Genshin Impact.